What up, y'all? Snitch Almighty, aka the Global Dark Skin Ambassador, aka Ballman Do It Better, aka the Valor Dawn. Now, we got basically Taxstone going at it via the internet, via Twitter with troyave. And it basically seems like troyave is admitting that he's going to testify on Taxstone in regards to this homicide case as soon as next week. Now, for those of you, first of all, what I want to do is I want to give y'all a brief history of Taxstone and troyave up to this point, because this whole situation goes back 6, maybe even 7 years, minimum 5 years. Okay, so 5, 6, 7 years ago, troyave is an independent artist in New York City from Brooklyn, Troy Avenue, hence the name, and he's doing his rounds within the music community. He's making his connections. He's making his music. He's gaining some kind of traction. He's getting some radio play. Leave it to him. He says that he got his money up from selling drugs, keys, and then he flipped it to legit money, and he used that to fund his career. That's what he says. That's basically what his whole story is about when he talks in his raps. Now, to me, he sounded like a poor man's version of 50 Cent. You know, he sounded like the energy of 50 Cent, but minus the star power of 50 Cent. With that being said, I don't feel like he was trash, but more like he didn't have enough music that makes you excited about what his next release is going to be. But at the same time, he was independent. And we all know in New York City, there's pretty much no independent artists because all the labels are in New York City. You know, and New York is different from like Texas and all other places in the South because there's not a lot of record labels there. So in New York, they have this slave artist mentality where the first thing they thinking about is getting hot and then signing a deal, signing their life away and giving up their publishing and masters. But anyway, troyave was one of those people who he was a polarizing figure in hip hop. And a lot of people would say that he would try to bully people. A lot of people would say that troyave was too arrogant and his talent didn't match his arrogance. One of the things he did that people really didn't like was when he made a diss record towards Joey Badass, and he made fun of the fact that Joey Badass's friend, cousin Steve or cousin Stiz, he cut his own water off by jumping off of a roof. He lost a lot of, maybe not necessarily credibility, but a lot of respect, especially amongst the younger crowd of people who listen to hip-hop music, especially the young people who are fans of Joey Badass. And after that point, here inserts Taxstone. Now, Taxstone is somebody who been in prison before. He was a known blood from Brooklyn as well, who was also known to be a bully, but it seemed like he was transitioning to becoming a media journalist. And when you talk about Taxstone was one of the first quote-unquote hood guys with a street background to begin podcasting. He was one of the very first. He started podcasting around the time where Joe Budden started podcasting. He either started right before Joe or right after. I believe it was right after. So it's like, he's the person who opened up that lane that eventually became, you know, like Drink Champs and $1 Million Worth of Game and different podcasts like that. Guys Next Door, different podcasts like that. Really, he's a pioneer. You know, if there's a Mount Rushmore of black podcasts, it would be Taxstone, Joe Budden, Drink Champs, and maybe you could put $1 Million Worth of Game there as well. Even though they started way after. You know, they probably started like 2, 3 years ago. But Taxstone took it upon himself to start calling troyave out. And this is where we start getting into the drama with these guys. Taxstone starts calling troyave out. They start having their issues and they start bickering amongst the internet. Now, Up until they met at, I believe it's Irving Plaza, where, the shooting took place, and because I'm going to get into that in another couple seconds. But up until that point, they were trading insults back and forth, and Taxstone was on this bumper sticker. Taxstone, when people would ask him about what's going on with him and Troy Ave, he was basically saying, I bully bullies. I used to be a bully. I know what a bully is. I don't like Troy Ave. He's a bully. He's a bully, and I want to bully him because he's a bully, and I want to show people that it's possible to bully a bully. Troy Ave was responding in his own Troy Ave kind of way. So now, fast forward to now, the shooting at Irving Plaza. Troy Ave happens to be in Irving Plaza. It seems that Taxstone had made it in early. Whoever were the security guards or whatever, or whoever were Taxstone's friends, they let Taxstone in, and from what the reports say, Taxstone had the pistol on him. He had a pistol on him. So now the scenario goes like this, and this is all public record for the most part. Troy Ave is with his people. They try to run down on Taxstone. And first of all, Taxstone also, he did an interview before, and he says, hey, listen, I'm really about that life. If anybody ever thinks they're going to run up on me, pow, pow. Almost verbatim is exactly what I just said, what he said. So it seemed like Troy Ave and his people were assumingly going to punk Taxstone and jump him, spank him. It would have went viral. It would have been on the internet. But here's the thing, right? Taxstone, happening to be about that life, he snuck into Irving Plaza with the pistol, right? Which already makes Taxstone seem like he was premeditating the situation. But anyways, how the story goes is Troy Ave and one or two of his people try to run down on Taxstone. They get into a confrontation. Taxstone start dumping. Right? In the middle of the melee, one of Troy Ave's friends, his bodyguard, I believe the brother's name is Banga, he gets hit, he drops, he loses his life. And in the middle of a scuffle, Troy Ave gets hit in the leg, which is how the story is being told. And Troy Ave gets the gun away from Taxstone, and Taxstone runs. Troy Ave chases after Taxstone, and he hits at Taxstone, but misses and claps like two people. One of them was a woman, another person was another person. They both lived. Now, here's the thing. Clearly, Taxstone is going down, but Troy Ave is faced with a dilemma. I believe the prosecutors are on him to say, hey, listen, we already got you for doing this, that. You let off a firearm, right? An illegal firearm in New York City, or was it New Jersey? One of those places. But either way, New Jersey's gun laws are basically the same as New York. We're not allowed to have any in New York, right? So it seems like they saying, hey, listen, if you want less time, because we're going to give you some type of time, but if you want less time, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take the witness stand. You're going to have to point Taxstone out, and you're going to have to say exactly what happened. But here's the thing. Pretty much Troy Ave has already said in songs and in interviews what happened already. He's already stated what happened. Now, we have this recent Twitter back and forth between the two, where Taxstone says, I can't wait for this bozo to testify. So now in the middle of that, Troy Ave says, hey, listen, dude, your friends you already riding in jail. Your friends already turned their back on you. You've been served a hot plate already. I might as well serve the dinner. Now y'all tell me what that means, because it sounds to me like he gonna tell. That's what it sounds like to me, you feel me? It seems like he's that man. Also, Troy Ave is somebody who 2, 3, 4 years ago, after the situation happened, he already was saying things like, the streets is a myth, the streets is a myth. In which I agree, you know. Everybody acts like when you're in the streets, you're gonna do crimes and you could be with a bunch of people and nobody gonna tell when you go to jail. Everybody gonna hold you down, hold your mama down, hold your baby mama down when you go to jail. But in all due reality, after a couple months, people are gonna forget about you and life is gonna move on. And you have no one to blame but yourself, because you did whatever crime you did to go to jail. And this is what makes people tell. When you realize that no one's looking out for your mother, When you realize that, dudes who you called your friends, your brothers, you know what I'm saying? They putting that plunger in your baby mama. This is what make dudes tell. Troyave is somebody who, it's very clear to me that he's not trying to go to jail at all. He also has kids. It also seems like he's not even trying to do no time at all. Without directly saying, I'm going to testify against Taxstone, he's saying, I'm going to testify against Taxstone. So what do y'all think? Do y'all think Troyave is soft for testifying if he does? Do you think he is tough if he doesn't? What are your thoughts on the situation? Let me know in the comment section. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Peace.